In order to reach the metrics and the KPIs that we established in our last meeting, it's important that we circumvent and circle back and get to the original starting point to ensure that those KPIs are not only met, but they're matched and superseded in Q4 and also Q1 of next year. Okay, is it just me? Or are people getting out of control with all of this business jargon? I had to do a video about it because it's not necessary. Here are some reasons why when people do that, it actually impedes the communication instead of making it better. If you're interested in this topic, please stick around, subscribe to this video, like it, and then also, if you find some humor in it, send it to someone within your network who may get a good laugh as well. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to look over my notes, and then we'll get started, and I'll introduce myself too. All right, thank you so much for doing that. So this video is going to be about, again, the different business jargon misusage that I've been seeing, and I just had to make a video about it. Who am I? I'm Lynette Renee Dovey. I'm an Amazon best-selling ghostwriter, and I'm in love with all things words, content, and communication and connection in general. So if any of this seems of interest to you, then of course, please keep coming back, and you just subscribe, but I want you to keep coming back, hit that notification bell so you're notified every single time that I create some content. Okay, so let's get into it. So the reason why this is so problematic is that it's alienating. Nothing will pull your audience out, whether it's in written communication or even verbal when you're speaking to someone. Nothing will pull them out than when you use all these different convoluted terms and you just kind of do a word salad at them. And sometimes I've been guilty of it and I'm like, nope, rein it back in. Being the most simplistic version of using a most simplistic version, I should say, of your communication is going to be most effective because people don't really know you like that. They aren't going to really just sit in and lean in when you begin using all those different words. So definitely make it a little bit more simplistic. And I definitely see this when it comes to writing. Sometimes I get emails, and maybe I've sent emails. I mean, hey, look, I'm not trying to be in a soapbox, and it could have read a little bit better. And the way that you kind of prevent that from happening is speak it aloud. Once you've written something, speak it aloud and see if it makes sense. Because you can't just assume that someone knows you and they'll understand your intonation and different points and pauses that you may have in your natural speaking, especially when you're writing. So definitely make sure you read it out and it kind of flows and it goes naturally, and that will ensure that your reader stays with you. The second problem that occurs with this convoluted business jargon language is that it's kind of vague. Because if you say, there's a particular moment in which I felt that we were off course and I think we need to get back. Decent sentence, but off course with regards to what? We need some specificity in that sentence. We were off course because we thought we overreached how much money we can make in a given quarter and we fell short. So moving forward, we need to do X, Y, and Z. So that communication is more specific because it looked at the problem and then it said the solution. And so when you're communicating with someone in a business capacity, written or verbal, you don't want to be vague. You don't want to be cute. You need to be specific. I had a meeting today and the person complimented me. They said, oh, based on your inquiry that you sent me prior to your consultation, I knew exactly what you wanted. So I commend you for that. And how I did that was I said, I need this. I want to create this. So I need this. Can you do this? And those 3 points got me and that person where we needed to be. So don't be vague. Be as specific as you can be. Next, another problem that occurs when you use that type of language is that it kind of undermines the trust of where the conversation is going. So it kind of sounds like you're hiding something if you're using so many different words to try to kind of do a word salad or barrage of words at people instead of just getting straight to the point. In the same meeting that I had today, things, went a little bit awry. And so I said, what are we doing here? And it wasn't direct with rudeness, but it was direct to really try to figure out where the communication was being led, because I had an impression that I booked a consultation for something and then we began to talk about something else. So I'm like, where is the communication going? Where are we going? Because when you're in business, your time is of the essence. And so I don't want to be talking to someone who is talking about something completely different when I gave you specific direction as to what we will be talking about. So it's important to not do that, so that way trust can be maintained in the conversation, because you're trusting that you're giving this person your time, and what you've communicated to them prior will be honored within that conversation. So even when you're speaking to people outside of just setting up a consultation, just in general, if it's with one of your colleagues or your teammates, or team members, make sure that you are being as clear and as forthright as possible, because it builds trust. So far I've given you a whole bunch of problems, but let me give you some solutions. So before you send something out, or even as you're speaking to someone, you want to test out or put it in your mind whether or not this person would be able to understand it if they are new to your industry and they've never met you before. So this really helps when you're working with people that you've worked with repetitively, because they could be like, huh, what? But if you could tell someone who's not related to the issue at hand or the task at hand, and they understand you, that's how you know the jargon that you're using is going to work. I have another example for you. Not too long ago, I was working on a contract and I got some feedback on my work, which is totally fine. I think feedback helps you improve what you're doing. But instead of saying, this example was good that you used, but I think it would be better served if you did this, that, and that. This person wrote me a paragraph of a word jumbo salad. I still don't understand it, but I think I got the gist of it was that they just wanted me to tighten up in certain regards. I think that we give ourselves a disservice when we think that we're going to hurt someone's feelings. It's not really about that when the communication is related to business. It's about getting to the facts of what is being discussed and getting there quickly. When you put in all those different words, that's when it becomes just a mess. And that brings me to rule number 2. We mentioned this earlier, the specificity of it. Instead of that person saying, well, Lynette, you know what, you did a good job, which I didn't need. I'm a professional. I know what I do. And I know that it's good. But instead of saying, Lynette, you did a good job, next time choose an example that's going to be a little bit more distant. He just went on and on and on and on and on. So be specific as possible. Don't, think that, oh, that'll hurt their feelings if I'm honest. No, that's what we, especially as writers, that's what we live for. We got to have that criticism so we can get it tight and we can get it right. So there's that. Number 3, another way to fix it in the moment is, what is the action? Always keep the action in your mind. Like, what is the end result? Always, when I'm training other writers and I'm speaking to people about their projects, think about the end result in mind. The same thing goes in just about every facet of communication. Think about the end in mind. Will saying all these words help me get to the end that I want to achieve? If it won't, then nix them. Always think about the end in mind. I know I kind of zipped through this video, but literally it was on my mind. I was like, I'm just going to do this off the dome. I referenced my notes a little bit, but mainly this is off the top of my head. So I have an assignment for you. As you're conversing with people in your day-to-day life, ask yourself, are we on the same page? Am I using too many words? This is how I have to check myself. It's an internal inventory I'm sharing with you now. But ask, am I doing too much? Did they get it? Also confirm with people when you're talking to them. See, be like, hey, is this clear? Because sometimes they could be thinking something totally different. Because though we do speak the same language, it's really interesting. This new jargon speak is causing us to feel like we're not speaking the same language and we're not on the same page. So throughout your assignment is throughout the week, check yourself, do a little inventory. Am I doing too much? And also when other people are doing too much, just ask them, hey, what do you mean by that? Where's this conversation going? I don't think we're really in line. Can you help me get there? And so that way you can push aside all the foolishness and get to the main topic at hand. Hey, this is just Lynette Renee Dobie. I'm just giving y'all my 2 cents because I just had a frustrating day of all this business jargon and all this other stuff. Communication is so simple and is beautiful when done effectively. And so I hope that you liked this video. And if you did, please let me know in the comments, and maybe I can do more items like this. Like maybe I could do the common mistakes that I see in emails, your versus your, those different mistakes that people make. So let me know, and I'll be happy to do a video, and I will see you in the next upload.